Are you over 50 and thinking, I need to get out of the house? Well, this video is for you. I am going to share a few things here just to get you started, because movement is life. It helps your cardiovascular and it just helps you with your day-to-day life, like just going to the supermarket and taking your dog for a walk, or just going out with friends. And it could be something that you do by yourself, or you can do with a friend or with a dog, but ultimately you just need to start. And I'm gonna give you a few pointers on how to do that. So stay with me and enjoy it. So we have three systems that work together to get us moving. And in terms of our feet, we have only on one foot, we have 26 bones. And that goes from long bones, little square blocky bones. We have big, massive, the calcaneus, which is your heel bone. And they all work together to, first, as a structure, as a foundation, right? And also, they need to keep your foot flexible, so they're small and then can move around, linked together by tendons and muscles and fascia. So you have muscles that go from your tibia down to your toes that help you flex, dorsal flexing of your foot, which is lifting your foot. And then we have the calf muscles that connect to the bottom of your feet and help you lower your foot on a plantar flexion. And then we have those stabilizers. So you can see the action of those stabilizers when you just lift one foot. If you just look down and you can see those stabilizers getting into action and keeping you from falling over. So that is pretty amazing to me, right? And in terms of the nervous system is just communicating and giving all these orders instantly in a flash. So, whether you're going from a pavement into a grassy area, and that one step, your brain is already calculating and giving orders to your feet or to your muscles to stabilize your feet. And so that's pretty amazing system right there to me. And the cool thing is, you have to keep that machine going, because that affects everything else. If you don't have the correct posture when walking, starting with your ankles, your new feet, that will affect it'll just affect everything going up to your neck and your head. So those are things that you need to have, you need to know about just to get you started. And first we're going to talk about the feet, which we're doing today, but then I want to move up to other parts of the body too that you need to pay attention while you're walking. So there's a plane flying above, or a helicopter. So we're going to talk about other parts of the body too, but I wanted to start with the feet because that affects everything else, and then we'll talk more about, in other videos, we'll talk about other parts of the body that you should also take care of while you're on your walking endeavors and adventures. One thing I like to see is this behind me, like people just working out in the park. I want to talk about now is barriers that we put in our lives to prevent us from doing things. And we have those real barriers, which are injuries, and that could be anything from plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis, bunions. So before you get started, make sure, if you have any of those chronic problems, make sure you get cleared out by a doctor. Take care of it, because pain is not going to go away if you don't treat it. So make sure you take care of that. See the doctor, physical therapy if you need to, before you get started on any of these walking endeavors. And the second one are mental blocks that we put in our head, thinking, oh, I'm too old, or I'm too frail, or I'm afraid I'm gonna fall, I'm afraid of being in a public space by myself. Those are things that we that we put in our minds to prevent us from doing something. And that could be, you know, anything really. I mean, some people just are afraid to commit to a program because they think they're going to fail. They're not going to continue. But, you know, you just need to persist. You need to have consistency and adjust your schedule sometimes to just do it. Like if you decide to do it in the morning or in the afternoon or early evening when it's not so hot or not too cold. So yeah, so those are things you can do to adjust, but just rethink all this, make sure you're cleared out of all these barriers, and then get started. So to start walking, you need one very important piece of equipment, and that is your shoes. And I got props. So this particular shoe is for city walking. You can probably take on a light trail too. Some people prefer heavier stuff to heavier shoes to go hiking on a trail, but for city walk you can just about something like this will be fine. Three things that I look for when I go buy shoes. The first, of course, is comfort, right? And you make sure that it fits properly. Your feet are not, your toes are not banging on the front of the shoe because they can cause discomfort, nail problems. The second one is to keep your heels above your toes. They usually have some sort of a little bit of a heel, and this is something that a podiatrist told me because when I was having problems with my Achilles tendon, he said do not wear flat shoes, especially if you're going for long walks and such. So yeah, just make sure to have some sort of compensation here or something support on the back. And the third one is basically what we have here. It's a very good treading, as you can, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it's very a little high, and these will grab onto the ground more. If you have shoes that are basically just like this point here, you know, a little light on the end, they're not great, especially if you're on a surface that's a little slippery. This would be better for you. So yeah, so something comfortable that fit your feet properly, and yeah. So, and the next thing that I'm gonna go to is your hiking shoe. I prefer high tops because it grabs my feet a little bit better, or my ankles. It supports my ankles. But same thing, you know, make sure that you have enough space on your toes so they don't grab onto the back, onto the front of the shoe, but has a nice fitting. My feet are skinny, so this particular brand, it fits better for my feet, because if I get the ones that are really wide, my feet tend to slide off onto the front of the shoe, and my nails start hitting there, and it's not a good thing. And of course, the treading. So those are the three typical, but in between this or that, it all depends on what you want to do in terms of effort, or if you want to go further. Some people get the shorter one, the lower, whatever top of the, just can't think of the word right now, but the top, the shorter ones. And yeah, so you just make a decision in what you want to do. And another thing is, once your shoes start to wear out, if you start seeing things on the back like these, it's worn out, and you start losing treading, it's time to replace, because you don't want to fall, slip. I mean, those are things that are a big concern when you're wearing shoes. And the third thing, this is a plus. A lot of these shoes don't have support. The insoles are not great, so I usually get my own, and especially something that supports the arch, because I tend to have issues with the arch. I used to have flat feet when I was a kid, and I had to wear orthotics in order to put it back when I was growing up. So I have to have some sort of support, because sometimes I notice that some shoes make my feet very uncomfortable because there's not enough arch support. And that's another thing that my podiatrist told me. And the last thing is, but not least, socks. Socks are also very important walking no holes. That's a no-no, especially if you're going for longer walks. But the socks are the type of socks that you choose, as long as they're comfortable and also they're not uh, uh, tough, so your feet feel comfortable, they're smooth. The best ones that I find are wool socks that tend to be, I don't know, they tend to be very hot, especially in the summertime. But I have the thick ones for the winter and the thinner ones for the summer. And sometimes have like two socks, one a really thin one over the other one, which prevents from the shoe from rubbing on your feet and giving you blisters. But I had blisters before, and believe me, you do not want to have them, especially if you still have to go for, if you're like gone 2 miles to get a blisters and you have to come back for another 2 miles or 10 miles depending on how far you're going. But yeah, so those three things are going to get you started. And of course, hats, long sleeve shirts, whatever you need to do in order to protect yourself from the sun and keep yourself warm. If it's too hot, right, you have to make that decision what you're gonna do. Bring it in your backpack or around your waist, a shirt or something that will help you finish your walk, and you are done. That's what you need to start in terms of equipment. So now what I want to talk about is hydration. Make sure to have enough water, which if you're going for short walks, that's fine. But if you're gonna go longer or if it's hot out, you might want to think of electrolytes. We're gonna cover this at a later episode, but just make sure to be hydrated and to have enough water or electrolytes if you're gonna go for a longer walk. I had a friend showing up once for a 10-mile hike with me with a 16-ounce bottle, and that just killed me because I had told him to bring enough water. I guess I should have been more specific, at least 2 liters, right, for that type of walk. So common sense. If you think you're gonna need it, if it's too hot out, bring more. If you don't think you're gonna need it, just gauge that. Also, a snack before you get out, especially if you're going for a longer walk. Something like a banana or an apple, or something that will give you the energy. And if you think you're gonna go a little longer, bring an extra one with you. So again, common sense, right? You know your body better than anybody else. So make sure you are doing something, you bettering yourself in terms of being out there, but also you need to take care of your temple. All right, so we got all these stuff that I told you before, but how we put it together. So we're gonna put it together by sticking with a routine. And by doing that, you will at least have something in your schedule and you can work around to make sure that you do something that you're gonna do every day. That could be, if you wanna start in the morning, like I'm a morning person as the sun is coming out now. And I like to do things in the morning. So I go to the gym in the morning. That's my routine. Set a time for yourself for that day and work around it. If you work in an office that might have, a nice walk, you can just go for a lunch. If it's not too hot out, go for a walk around the block, or, a half-a-mile walk start. And you just can do those things and those adjustments to help you get out there and moving. You don't like to go by yourself? Maybe ask somebody to come with you. And that's having a buddy is amazing. I have Rosie, who's not here today because it was too early for her, but I like to do, to have somebody's companion. Sometimes I have friends with me. The other day I took a couple of friends up to the Hollywood sign, and I love it. It's amazing. So yeah, do different things to help you be out there and start. And that could be very simple changes that you can do to your life to adjust and then get to started. So I hope you really do this, and I hope you get a life change that you're looking for. And yes, let's do it. Let's get out there and step outside and let's go. So moving does not have to be extreme. You can just start from your foundation, starting from your feet and knowing how to move slowly, short hikes or short walks, up to as long as you want. Really, the sky's the limit here. And you can do it. I know you can, because I did it. I did it many years ago, and I still continue doing. And you know what? I'm still learning, but I'm still moving. So I'll see you next time. Plantar fasciitis. Injuries. Plantar injuries, right? Like plantar fasciitis. If I say that word again, I just cannot say that word. Plantar fasciitis. No, I can't do it. Oh, God. Help us, or flying above, or a helicopter. And then there are the barriers that are injuries, for instance, right? Plantar fasciitis.